talk some football. All right, let's dive right into it. Thursday night, tonight, we are going to see the Kansas City Chiefs, who took down and, let's be honest, beat the crap out of the Arizona Cardinals in week one. They are taking on the Los Angeles Chargers, who won a tough game against the Las Vegas Raiders. This game is in Kansas City. Thursday night football, the first time on Amazon Prime Video. They signed a multi-year deal, big money. Keenan Allen is out for the Chargers. J.C. Jackson is questionable with that ankle injury. Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Chiefs, while you guys might not think it's important and laugh at it, trust me, if it comes down to a field goal or an extra point, it's going to be very important. And the cornerback rookie first-round pick for the Kansas City Chiefs, Trent McDuffie, is put on IR, so he is out for a while. Kansas City is favored by 4 points. And before I kick it to one of you, I just want to say a little fun facts about these matchups. The Chiefs have won 13 of the past 16 matchups against the Chargers, though the Chargers have won 2 of the past 3. One of those was in January, where KC rested their starters. Andy Reid is 15-6 against the Chargers. LA is trying to start off the season 2-0 since 2012. And Kansas City has won the AFC West 6 straight times. John, I'm going to kick it to you first. Give me your thoughts on this big-time Thursday night football game.
I got a question real quick. Is this the game we look back at the end of the season when we have a division winner in the West and say, that's the one right there? I think when we look at this matchup early in the season, we're going to see a lot of Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert for the next decade, hopefully. And this is kind of the first year of it. We're expecting the Chargers to not only make the playoffs, but win a few playoff games, whereas the Chiefs have something to prove after losing a superstar wide receiver. So what I'm really looking forward to seeing is, without Keenan Allen, the Chargers' weapons are limited, akin to the Chiefs, where Pat Mahomes isn't working with an elite wide receiver. The fascinating thing, though, is this early in the season, you guys talk about it week one, how it's kind of a fourth preseason game. Are we going to see some rust with one of these two teams on either end of the ball? Defensively, particularly, maybe the Chargers, that J.C. Jackson doesn't play this week, have a down performance. Could this Chiefs offensive line, while Trey Smith is questionable, and this one is one of the best in the NFL. Now, they're a little bit weaker at tackle for sure with Creed Humphrey. By the way, one of our older episodes, I think I called him Creed Humphrey. I completely butchered his name. I'm trying to think what I called him, but that's the point. It is fascinating to see Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa going up against him and Andrew Wiley. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Mahomes can kind of continue off of a strong performance off Arizona last week. I had the Chiefs winning this one. I can't go against Mahomes. I think he's the best quarterback in the league. And Herbert, he's still got more to prove. And for him, if he does beat Mahomes in this one, I feel that some people, a little bit like Josh Allen from the last 2 years, might try to put him in that Mahomes tier, which I don't think he's quite there yet. But this matchup is going to be the game of the week, in my opinion. I have the Chiefs taking it 31-27.
You said game of the week. I think this one has game of the year kind of potential here. So I have a fun stat. Justin Herbert against the Chiefs in his career, he's 2-2, but his touchdown and interceptions, 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions against the Chiefs. This is a guy, you said you don't see him on the Mahomes tier, and I understand that. He hasn't played in the playoff games, but if you're taking playoffs out of it, I believe he is on that same level. I think it's the margin of difference here between Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. There's not big of a difference there. I feel like they're all big time quarterbacks. They're elite quarterbacks, and we'll be talking about them for the next 10 plus years. Going into this game, I feel like it's a big prove it game. I feel like last week, the Chargers were definitely battle tested. They're in a divisional game going against the Raiders, a new and improved Raiders team, and they step up to the challenge. Now, my biggest concern is the Chiefs. The Chiefs walked into Arizona and really took on a very underprepared Arizona Cardinals team that both of us, all three of us here, don't think too highly of. So I feel like the team that was most battle tested in week one has the edge here. So Personally, I got the Chargers winning 34-28.
Interesting. All right, so you guys both got Kansas City covered. Oh no, wait, you said you have the Chargers, Justin.
Mhm.
Okay, so you have the Chargers winning in Kansas City. Okay, oof. I do think this is going to be a very exciting game, right? I mean, both offenses are pretty prolific. Uh Now, I think the Chargers proved a lot of people um kind of right and wrong about them because there was a lot of hype going into the season. Is this just a paper team? They're great on paper, but paper doesn't usually sometimes doesn't translate to the field. I I was really high on them. I had them as a top 5 team in the NFL in its entirety. I think what was disappointing about last week's game was really, I mean, they turned Carr over 3 times, right? Intercepted him 3 different times, sacked him 5 times, 6 in total. They had 1 sack on Devontae Adams, who tried to pass the ball, I guess, on a trick play. But what's disappointing is that with all that said, not the Chargers, the Raiders had a chance to win in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. They were only down by 5 points, until they turned it over on downs because they just couldn't convert. I think Khalil Mack actually sacked them on the last drive of the game for the Raiders. Um, that's a little like, pause for cause. Like, okay, you did all that great stuff on defense, but yet they still had a chance to win in the fourth quarter. Um, and even to that, like, yes, they got 3 interceptions, but where is it here? Who went? Oh, Devontae Adams. He had where is it? Okay, 10 receptions for 141 yards, and Darren Waller, while he didn't catch the ball a lot, only had 4 catches, but he still had 79 yards, and I think that rounds out to about 19 yards per catch. And even Josh Jacobs, while he didn't get a lot of touches on the ground, 10 for 57, that's 5.7 yards a carry. That'll work a lot. So I mean, yes, Bosa and Mac showed that their pairing is going to be scary, and Kansas City's tackles, while elite, have a lot to deal with this Thursday night. I think the rest of the defense can be had, even with a Derwin James, even Asante Samuel Jr. coming into his own, even if J.C. Jackson comes back. It looks like this defense can be had still. Now, they're going to probably be predicated on a bend but don't break defense, where they can make the big plays late in the fourth quarter. Like, they'll give up the yards in the first like 3 quarters and even in the fourth, but they'll make that big play in the last drive of the game where they'll get a stop or whatever. I just see. I look at this. I mean, they have absolutely nobody to cover Travis Kelce, though. Travis Kelce, in the last 3 games against the Chargers, listen to this: 10 receptions, 191 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 7 receptions, 104 yards, and a touchdown, and 9 receptions for 90 yards and a touchdown. And he's coming off 8 catches for 120 yards, 21 yards, and a touchdown. And he's the ipso facto #1 option now. They got nobody to guard him. I know.
Isn't this
Derwin
why
Jackson
this is why they paid Derwin James, my man? He got injured the
I
last
know,
time
and I
they
was just about
played.
to say, you got Derwin James, but we all know, is Derwin James really going to slow down Travis Kelce?
In their last matchup, our buddy Drew on Pick a Side was actually talking about it. He was doing a hell of a job on T. Kelsey, and then he got down, and that was where Kelsey took off. I think
Okay.
you look at the pass rush last year. First off, it was one of the most squishy defensive lines. There was basically no run stoppers, but now you add in Khalil Mack who can stop the run and come off the edge. That changes the entire defense, and the secondary has improved as well, whether or not J.C. Jackson plays just with Asante Samuel going to his second season. So this is a different type of defense than it has been in past years, especially with the second year in the system coming in with Brand Staley. I'm saying, dude,
John, you picked the Chiefs. Why are you arguing against me right now?
I don't think Kelsey's going to go off. I think he'll have a good game, but
Okay.
the
I
Chiefs'
think
offense
Kelce.
is going to be spreading around everybody. MVS, Juju, maybe
I
a
know
little
he's going to be
Sky
shredding
Moore.
it around. I know Juju had a good game, 6 for 79, but Travis is still that #1 option. And listen, it is hard to cover elite tight ends in this league.
To be
Very
clear,
difficult.
Justin
Huh?
and I had the Chiefs winning, but I'm trying to tell you the Chargers do have somebody to guard T. Kelsey. I think Derwin James can do a heck of a job, but he's going to show
No,
today.
no, I don't.
Justin, you with me here? I can't
No.
be the only one.
I do think that Travis Kelsey is going to get a lot of targets early and often. So I'm not going to go in there and say he's not going to have a big game. What do you consider a big game? Because I feel like average for Kelsey, he's going to at least have 75 yards, if not more, and the touchdown.
I
I
would
think
say
they'll find him.
8 catches, 100 and over a touchdown, maybe, or 120 in a TD.
Yeah, no, I think
That's a big
getting
day.
over 100 yards. I think he's going to get over 100 yards again. I think he's going to find the end zone again. He's found in the last three matchups. Now, here's the thing on your on the Chargers though that's very worrying. Keenan Allen is out, and he was able to find the end zone in their last two matchups against the Chargers. Mike Williams, well, last week he had two catches for 10 yards. Didn't got paid and didn't show up week one. And in the last matchup against the Chiefs, he had three catches on 9 targets for 49 yards. Now, what he's going to need to do is in the first matchup last year against Kansas City, he balled the hell out. He had 7 for 122 and 2 touchdowns. That's what he's going to need to do. And Austin Eckler balling out. Those guys are going to have to show up because of Keenan Allen being out. Excuse me. I look at it and I say, you know what, man, we've seen Mahomes under duress so much. He's got great movement in the pocket. He can move out of the pocket. He can evade pressure with some of the best of them. Extending plays is like his second nature. We saw how great he looked while the Arizona Cardinals defense is very weak, and we like the Chargers defense a lot more. I still think in this league, Mahomes is going to be able to really pick apart this defense. I think I think it's going to be close. I'm not going to say it's going to be like a blowout. I think it's going to be around like a 31-28 type game. But I just expect Kansas City to have a lot easier of a day than Justin Herbert and the Chargers due to Keenan Allen being out.
So what's this game going to come down to? What do you think decides?
Justin Herbert, he's the type of guy. I mean, you were saying it before, Justin. In terms of skill set, he is on Mahomes' level. You can argue he is more skilled than Mahomes, given the fact he can do what he does at 6'6". What do you mean? No.
No,
Do you watch this guy
stop
play?
it.
Brandon's
Yes,
the
I
type of
watch him
guy.
play, but like, come on, can we
Justin,
please
you and I know
stop this
this.
stuff?
Please stop it. He
Can we-
hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. Come on.
No,
Are
I'm
you
not
serious?
saying that. I wasn't
Is that
going to
what you're
even
doing?
bring that up. I wasn't going to even bring that up. You brought up strictly talent, so I was going to keep it talent-wise. I was going to say, can we please stop with this? Listen, Patrick Mahomes came out of the draft, right? Then he started for the season, and we all were in awe and just reveled in the fact of this master of an arm talent, right? Aaron Rodgers got freaking praised for the last decade about being the most talented talented player at the quarterback position of all time. Like, okay, these guys are really good.
You know why I say
Borderline
that?
great, but like, do you see the stuff Patrick Mahomes does?
Yeah, and I see the stuff Herbert does, staying at 6'6". It is not normal when you're throwing from that
Listen,
high of a point.
Herbert is coming off of his 9th game of at least 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. That ties him with Mahomes for
You
the
realize
most in their first
Mahomes, I
3
think,
seasons.
I forget the stat, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he has 6 games of those in his career, and he's tied with somebody in second only Brady and Manning, and Brady and Manning have 9.
You do realize what
about that.
Mahomes has stepped into versus
Okay, so
Justin
now you're
Herbert.
bringing up the talent around. You realize that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were there, right? Austin Eckler was there. While they didn't have the head coach, they had the
Or the
talent,
offensive line
the
was right
offensive
here.
weapons. They had the offensive weapons, I'm saying, though.
Andy Reid, Anthony Lynn, and Brandon
Yes,
Staley.
I give you that. I didn't argue that point. But I'm giving you the offensive weapons. He had the talent.
But there was just more structure from Mahomes.
You're right on
I'm
the
saying,
talent. Yeah.
I'm saying Justin Herbert is running his level as a talent. I mean, the kid is phenomenal. Last week, there was one throw where I think it was Chandler Jones that was dragging his back foot and pulling him to the ground. And while he's being pulled to the ground, his back right leg, he throws an absolute dart over the middle of the field. Perfect completion. I'm just saying to myself, like, well over, I think it was 15 plus yards, right?
Mhm.
That was a decent throw. I was like, I don't know if any
I'm not
quarterback,
sitting
even
here.
like a Josh Allen, I
I'm
don't know
not
if he could do
sitting
that.
here arguing that Justin Herbert is not a very talented quarterback. He is.
He's an
I'm
elite,
just sitting
phenomenal
here.
talent.
I'm just sitting here arguing that like there are levels to this, and can we stop putting everybody on just the same level, because then it just doesn't become special anymore.